everyone, this is Liz Redmond, and today for my quick-fire video, I'm going to be cooking with TPACK. I had my roommate select 3 random items from our kitchen with no knowledge of what my task would be. The items she chose for me today were a spatula, a mixing bowl, and a plate. She then drew from a hat from 4 different choices, and she chose choice number 1, which means that today I will be making a cheese plate with this sharp cheddar cheese and my 3 items I was given. I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and as I just have some initial thoughts, my first thinking is for the spatula, I'm gonna try to cut the cheese with this bottom part. I think that might be helpful to cut it into slices. I also have some thinking that I might use this sharp piece here if that doesn't work so great, so I'm gonna give that a try. I don't really have a use for the bowl right now, but I'm gonna set it to the side and see if I need it for some reason. I'm gonna use the plate as a doubled cutting board as well as serving platter. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started and talk to you about how effective these tools are as I'm making a hopefully beautiful cheese plate. I'm gonna get started by laying the cheese out on my plate. And my thinking is I'm going to cut it this way. All right, this was our first slice that we made. I'm gonna set it to the side. I'm gonna try one more time. I think that the spatula is okay. The slices actually don't look too bad, but as I'm using it, it's not very sturdy or stable. It kind of slips as I get through the cheese. So I think had I had the choice of what I would choose, I would definitely choose a sharper, clean-cut knife or a cheese cutter, but this should be okay. As you can see, it's just not very stable or consistent in what the sizes of them are. So I'm going to continue just cutting them as best as I can. I think that had I been given the choice of the plate, I would probably pass just for the sake of I would prefer a cutting board. I think something that's a little more stable and higher up would have been more helpful for me to cut the items more cleanly. And I didn't really think I had a use for the bowl, but knowing that I'm gonna be using this plate as my serving plate as well, there are little pieces of leftover cheese. So I think I'm just gonna use the bowl as kind of my discard bowl of little pieces. But I think in the future, I wouldn't really need a bowl for making a cheese plate. So just trying to use it because it's available. My next step will be to try to make this look as beautiful as I can with just a plastic plate. When I make cheese boards with my own tools and a more variety of cheese, I try to make them all different sizes and look a little more beautiful. But like I said, we are just gonna work with what we have. So here is my final cheese board. It's not as stimulating or beautiful, but it surprisingly did get the job done. So I think that when I reflect on why we did this activity, I think the main reason is that oftentimes teachers are given not ideal tools as they're teaching, and we have to be really flexible. Oftentimes we just are given what our school gives us, and just like I tried to chop cheese with a spatula, it worked. It wasn't the most effective or beautiful, but it did work. And oftentimes I think we find ourselves doing that in teaching, is just being really flexible and finding ways to make do with what we have. I think a personal connection I have to this is when we first went into COVID lockdown and I went to remote teaching, my school did not allow us to go back into our building. So I only had my Chromebook to use and was expected to continue teaching lessons. So when I was trying to show my students my work, I was realizing they couldn't see what I was doing because I only had one front-facing screen. I didn't have my document camera like I would in class. So I would actually try to hold my phone over my work and write with my right hand to show them what I was doing, or I had a wonderful roommate that would hold my phone or camera for me as I wrote. And I think that really connects to this task as well, as It wasn't the most effective. It was very wobbly. It wasn't the best instruction, but I made it happen with what I did have. And I just think that's something that teachers often have to do, is just work with what they have. I also think this connects to our TPACK video in knowing that oftentimes teachers aren't given a lot of resource or training with technology. So it's really hard for us to incorporate that in an effective way. But I also think it makes a positive connection to TPACK because teachers are so flexible that sometimes teaching with technology can be really intimidating. But if you think of our strong skills with our pedagogical knowledge as well as our knowledge of our content, we can be flexible and we can find a way to incorporate technology into those two pieces and make it really meaningful for our students. So that's my quick fire video today. I hope you enjoyed watching me make this beautiful cheese plate. Like I said, in the future, I wish I had some more effective tools, but just like in my classroom and just like teachers all over the world, we make do with the tools that we have for the best of our kids.